Okay, I won't usually say this online, but I have a confession to make. I can't stop buying this stock, and to be honest with you guys, that's starting to annoy me. Because every time I look at AMTM, I'm expected to find the thing that's wrong. The reason the stock is down almost 50%, the reason I should stop buying, and every time I dig, I end up even more bullish than before, which is a problem. Because if I'm missing something, I want to know what it is. Now, I've made 4 videos on this company. I own shares. I'm adding every month. And somehow, I'm still asking the same question. Why is this stock down almost 50%? The stock is around $21 right now. 52-week high was $38. It was nearly cut in half, which would normally make me think something went horribly wrong. Except I can't find the thing that went wrong. Maybe I'm missing something obvious. Maybe there's a risk I don't understand. But every time I dig into this company, I end up more confused than when I started. And that's what this video is about. Look, I've already made 4 videos on AMTM. I have a bloody AMTM playlist on the channel, and as you can tell, I'm clearly bullish. But that's exactly why this is driving me crazy. Because I'm bullish on the business, but every time I dig, I find out something that makes me even more confused about why this stock is sitting where it is. Amentum, AMTM. Because here's what this company actually is. Amentum came together from DynCorp, PAE, and merged with Jacobs' Critical Mission and Cyber Divisions. 53,000 employees, 80 countries, 2 major segments, digital solutions and global engineering, intelligence, cybersecurity, space systems, artificial intelligence, nuclear remediation, engineering, infrastructure. And the thing that really matters is the clearances. When you're dealing with a classified intelligence, nuclear facilities, space operations, missile defense, you can't just show up and start competing. You need years of trust, relationships, approvals, and security clearances. Amentum already has all of those. That's a moat most people never talk about. Then I start looking at the contracts. And honestly, they're huge. A multi-billion-dollar Space Force contract, a long-term nuclear remediation contract at Sellafield, NASA-related work, Artemis support, missile defense programs. Every time I looked, there seemed to be another major contract attached to the company. Then I got to the backlog, 47.8 billion. And that's the number that made me stop. Because the market cap is roughly $5 billion. Think about that. A company with nearly 48 billion of contracted backlog being valued by the market at around 5 billion. Now obviously, backlog isn't revenue, and revenue isn't profit. I'm not saying those numbers are the same thing, but that's still a number that makes me pay attention. Revenue last year was around 14 billion. Guidance this year is roughly in the same range. Nothing explosive, nothing that screams hypergrowth. Just a large business generating billions of dollars every year. But let's talk about the risks, because there are risks. Debt is around 3.5 billion. That's real. Profit margins are thin. Government budgets can change. Contracts can get delayed. Priorities can shift. And there are analysts who aren't exactly pounding the table on this stock. Some are neutral. Some have lower targets. So there are smart people looking at exactly the same company and reaching a different conclusion than I am. And maybe they're right. Maybe the debt becomes a bigger issue than I think. Maybe margins never improve. Maybe there's something the market is seeing that I'm not. I genuinely don't know. And that's the part I keep coming back to. The market isn't stupid. When a stock falls this much, my first assumption isn't that everybody else is wrong. My first assumption is that I'm missing something. But when I look at AMTM, I don't see a company that's falling apart at the seams. I see a company operating in defense, cybersecurity, space, intelligence, nuclear, infrastructure. And then I asked myself a simple question. 5 years from now, what does the world look like? Is defense spending lower? Is cybersecurity less important? Does nuclear suddenly stop mattering? Does space become irrelevant? Maybe. Who knows? Anything is possible. But sitting here today, I don't see that future. And that's why I keep buying. Not because I know what happens next month, not because I know what happens next year, and definitely not because I'm guaranteeing returns. And maybe I'll look back at this video in 10 years and laugh at myself. That's entirely possible. But after all the research I've done, this is one of the few companies I keep coming back to. So yes, I'm bullish. I own shares. I'm adding every month. And apparently, I can't stop buying. But that's just my opinion. Because if there's one thing I've learned about investing, is that the market loves proving people wrong, including me. So now, I just laid out everything I found. The backlog looks incredible, but the debt is real. The risks are real. And honestly, I have no idea what this stock does tomorrow. No idea what it does next month. And neither does anyone else. Anyone who claims they know exactly where a stock is going probably doesn't. The market is unpredictable. All we can do is look at the facts, weigh the risks against the rewards, build a thesis, and then see if that thesis holds up over the next 5, 10, or even 15 years. I'm 13 years old. I'm learning. I'm making mistakes. And I'm documenting the journey as honest as I can, including the parts where I'm confused. So maybe I'm completely wrong about AMTM. Or maybe this is one of those companies people ignore today and wish they had paid attention to later. I genuinely don't know. But that's what makes investing so interesting. Anyways, let me know what you think. What is the market seeing that I'm not?